No, I just want the windshield. Well, that's all the glass. Oh, windshield right there. Mark owes me a windshield anyway. He stole my windshield.
That's what I want to see first thing in the morning.
Hey, buddy.
Why are you here? Why are you here? Why is this? Why do I come into
It's
this?
7:30 in the morning. It's my time.
Why are you in my chair? I got emails to do. Why? I gave you the list yesterday afternoon. You could have done it at any time.
Mark, you had about, seriously, probably 10 or 15 things you wanted to do yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, well, I do about 50 or 60 things in an afternoon. That's my job.
That's why
what
I
I
came
do.
to 7:30
That's what you
this-
should be doing too.
That's why I came in at 7:30 this morning to order some parts.
Oh, so you're all company now. You're going to get on it. You're going to take care of it. Okay, where's the list for the Superbird?
I don't have a list for the Superbird.
Well, that's funny because I gave you a master list of the Superbird yesterday.
No.
If you're going to do it right now, because I need on that computer, then get this thing done. What do you got so far? At least get the sheet metal, my God. Why are you in E-body?
I'm ordering some parts up for my car. You told me to go ahead and get some parts ordered for it. Did you not tell me that yesterday? Mark, relax.
That's why I don't. No, I'm not going to
a little
relax when I got deadlines and commitments, and you don't give a crap about anything except your own selfish self. And I tell you something,
bit. Maybe
everybody's
you should
talking
get
about
here
it.
early in the morning, like the rest of us do. Yeah, go powder in your little office. Yeah, that's right. I was just trying to help out, buddy. I'm a team player, you know. I just needed a few parts for my car. Thought we'd save on some freight. Save you some money on some freight for the parts for my car.
This time on Graveyard Carz. By the end of the week, we're going to have sheet metal hung on the Superbird. So what the guys are doing right now is they're getting the engine ready to paint.
I'm Jim Walton, and this is my daughter, Mitzi, and this is our Dodge Charger.
He will give you $35,000.
Well, I'll have to think about it.
I already told him you'd take it. It is now time to disassemble all the sheet metal off of our Superbird.
These guys take amazing care of us. I mean, look at all this stuff here. It's like Christmas.
You're just trying to welch on all of our other agreements.
I'm going to go turn the booth on, start making magic. That's what I do.
Got that car coming to get you, Barbara.
The unburied dead are coming back to life.
My name is Mark Warman. I work with my worst enemy, Daren Kirkpatrick.
Give me a gun!
And my son-in-law, Josh. Whoa! Along with my best friend, Royal.
Well, all right.
And our newest team member, Holly.
This is exciting.
We bring dead cars back to life. If we don't kill each other.
Oh, Mark. Oh. It's going to be a bloodbath.
This is Superbird week. The engine is ready to paint. I want to get it onto the cherry picker, moved into the booth, so we can get it scuffed and ready to shoot. I'm going to paint it today. We know that the parts are already ordered from AMD, so as soon as that huge order shows up, we blow that package apart, we get every single part out of there, we check it against the manifest, we make sure that it's the right one. I know you don't like to check your parts, but I do.
You know, every time we get in a parts order, there's always something missing, something Mark has forgotten. You know, now that my car has also been moved away from Graveyard Carz, he's gonna have to find another car to steal parts from.
And you stop the giggling. No grown man giggles like that unless he's up to some kind of crime. Anyway, for the Superbird, is we're going to disassemble the body. We're going to get every piece of sheet metal off of that Superbird and ready for the new parts. The minute that's done, the new parts start getting hung on it. By the end of the week, we're going to have sheet metal hung on the Superbird. This sounds like a lot, so follow along. Engine paint, married to transmission, engine run stand, done. Parts in, checked. Car disassembled, new sheet metal hung on it. Friday, high five, everybody goes home.
Where's Royal?
You got it? Royal's having another existential week.
Wow, it must be really nice being Mark's best friend, like Royal has it. Need I say more?
Somebody get the door. Let's raise this thing up. We got a hell of a busy week right now at Graveyard Carz. Got a lot going on. That's the way it goes. Sometimes it catches up with you all at once. And in addition to that, I got Josh, who every time he sees something shiny, I lose his attention. And Daren, who's bouncing off the walls. God knows what goes on in his head. I'm going to have to really ride shotgun on these guys, make sure that they pay attention to what needs to be done so we can get it done. So what the guys are doing right now is they're getting the engine ready to paint. They're scuffing everything that is either new metal, such as like the heat shields, those spark plug wire separators, that's brand new metal. I like to get a scuff, even though the product that we're going to use over it says you don't have to scuff. I like to be extra sure. Josh is using a red Scotch-Brite. Daren will be in a minute. I'm gonna go around it and make sure that it's chemically clean and that all the holes are plugged. And I'm gonna start mixing up the DP90 so that I can get the engine sprayed. It's gonna need about a half of an hour at this temperature before I can top coat it with the Hemi Orange acrylic urethane. Daren, how long are you gonna take to do that, buddy?
Till I get it right.
It's like 2 holes.
Till I get it right, okay?
Well, I'd like to paint it tonight. It still needs to set for half an hour. These engines from Chrysler, they were painted completely assembled. I mean, the exhaust manifolds, some people I know are sitting there right now thinking, what kind of butchers paint the exhaust manifolds? On these engines, they were painted in place, as were all the things that you see on here, and a couple you don't. The throttle bracket, the PCV valve that you see here, the rubber grommets. You know, if I was doing a car on my own, I would have those out when I'm doing it. In this particular case, Chrysler left them in, we're leaving them in. I try to make people believe anything's possible.
That's right.
You know, that if you got a dream, follow it.
Like R. Kelly.
Shut up,
believe
idiot,
he
I'm
could
talking.
fly.
I want people to feel good about themselves. I want them to know that I'm on their team. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I feel that way constantly.
That's the way you make me feel
Yep.
when you talk to me.
Okay, so while the guys are blowing down the engine, doing the final clean on it, I'm gonna mix up the DP product. This is what we choose. It's the DP90 LF, that stands for lead free. That means it's a little safer on the old body. This stuff is direct to metal. It'll seal that engine off. It'll give us a good substrate to go over the top of. This product goes 2 to 1. That's 2 parts of the actual primer to 1 part of the catalyst. So I'll get my PPG cup out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself 4 ounces of primer. Should have brought my glasses. We're gonna go to the 6. That's gonna give us a 2 to 1 ratio. You wanna stir that up. So you just need a primer gun to apply it with. Throw a filter in there. That'll filter out any kind of little chunks, like if you have some chunk around this edge. So if you look inside there, those little bubbles and chunks represent something that you don't want trying to go through the fluid needle of a paint gun. When you put this on, I usually shoot it around 30 to 40 PSI. I got the oven on at about 80 degrees. It'll set up in 30 minutes and be ready for a top coat. So I've got the DP90 on in a medium wet coat. The oven is running on the boost, so in about 30 minutes I'll be able to top coat it with the actual engine color, Hemi Orange. In 1970, what was the standard engine in the Plymouth Cuda? Was it the 340, the 383, or the 440? The answer coming up after the break. So what was the standard engine on the 1970 Plymouth Cuda? The answer is the 383. While you might think the 340 would be the standard engine as it's a small block and lower horsepower, it was optional, as was the 444 barrel, the 446 barrel, and the legendary 426 Hemi. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. I got the guys geared up for a massive amount of work on the Superbird this week, and we are off to a good start. They prepped the engine for paint, I hit it with a coat of DP90, and now we're ready for the final coat of Street Hemi Orange. So I've mixed up my own color right now that I like to use on the engines. It's an exact duplicate to the original Street Hemi Orange. It is a single stage paint. You don't want to do a base coat, clear coat on an engine. You want to do a single stage Deltron concept. That's the best product I've found. It is a little shiny when I'm first finished, but after the engine's been ran a few times, it dies back down, has a natural, normal sheen to it, looks good for years to come. The ratio on this is 4 to 2 to 1. So I got my cup out here. I'm going to put 4 parts of color, 2 parts of hardener, and 1 part of reducer in it. And I know I talk a lot about my PPG products, and the truth is I used them for many, 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 many years. I've used them since I started my shop in 1985. It's the colors for me. The product's durable, it lasts a long time, it's great finish, but the fact is I can mix up EV2 on a car and it's spot on Hemi Orange. Top Banana FY1, FC7, FE5 Rally Red, doesn't matter what color it is. If I go to that bank and I go to that computer, I look up the formula, I mix it, I'm on. It's just the kind of thing that's hard to argue with. So now that I've got my color in there, I'm right at the 4 mark. The next one is reducer. I like to use a slow reducer just because I have the heat on in there. It'll give me a nice finish. There's 4 to 2, and the 1 is the catalyst. That's right there. Again, this is a single stage. It does not need to be top coated with a clear. It has a beautiful finish when it dries. What happens if I make a mistake? Well, I don't make mistakes, so I guess I wouldn't know. Before I fire the booth up, I'll just show you real quick how you know that your DP is ready other than a timer is just look at the sheen. When I put it on, it was very, very wet, had a gloss to it. Now you notice it has an eggshell or a matted finish. Look around it, make sure there aren't any hot spots, what I call a hot spot, which is a spot that hasn't cured out all the way, so it'll still show shiny and wet. I do not see any of those on that. I'm gonna go turn the booth on, start making magic. That's what I do. Chrysler introduced the Street Hemi Orange in 1969 and used it all the way to 1971 on their high-performance engines. I love that color. It's similar but not exactly the same as the EV2 Hemi Orange. The EV2 Hemi Orange has a metallic in it. The engine enamel does not. Once you mix up that Hemi Orange and start spraying it on there, all of a sudden it just comes to life. And boy, it pops. I love it. I just finished putting the last coat of Hemi Orange on the engine for the Superbird. So with that task under our belt, I'm gonna give it a couple hours to cure. Then we're gonna start checking in the parts that just showed up from AMD for the Superbird. Josh, you might even find a razor blade if there is one. All right, looks like he's got it. I want to find out if we have any wrong parts or if we have any missing parts in the bill of lading.
Why don't you just send us another whole car?
Today we got the shipment for the Superbird. We're gonna open it up, see what we got, see if we got everything. Actually, the Superbird looks better than I thought it was gonna. You know, when it came back, it looked pretty bad when they sent it off. I hear the guys talk about AMD and how well everything fits when they get it. There ain't nothing we can't fix. Only a handful of people can do this.
I'm hopeful that Daren is in a good enough mood that he can appreciate the quality of the metal that we got and the fact that they're here and that we can order them today that we couldn't do 10 years ago. So I'm looking forward to hearing some positive thing versus his usual negativity.
Why didn't you rebody it like the others?
Well, how's the kids doing? Good? Let's get this.
The rebody's
Let's get that down. I want to get these things horizontal on the
tell.
ground. So right now I just want to lay everything out here on the floor and then I will start going through this. So we're going to get them out and down and we're not going to damage them.
I did damage
One of
it.
the things we're not going to do is damage them. Come on, Marys, get these boxes opened up. Keep all the parts together right
don't
and
hurt
left.
yourself.
You know what? I'm doing the stuff that requires a brain.
Yeah, not exercise.
Don't, like I said, don't hurt yourself.
10 years ago, first of all, you wouldn't have been able to get a one-piece trunk floor for an E-body or a B-body. Now you can get them. Not only can you get them, but all the factory pierced holes for the drain plugs that go in the floors, we used to have to make those. This is what I was saying on these. 5 years ago when you were buying the sheet metal, you weren't getting the factory holes, you were having to punch those things out. These are actually not only, these are pierced, they're not drilled.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're pierced in all the right places. So now, and you notice it's a one piece versus the old ones that were split down the middle and it was a two piece. And you had to weld that, stitch that whole thing up. They are ready to install. And all the factory provisions are there. All of the factory holes are there. All you got to do is paint it, put the body plugs in it, and you're done. That's what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of parts there,
There's a lot of
friends.
parts here.
There's a lot of parts there. What's in the heck is in here? Hood
They're
is,
gonna stay there.
roof skin.
Is it up and out or not? There we go. So let's slide that down there.
AMD is probably one of the best vendors, hands down. These guys take amazing care of us. I mean, look at all this stuff here. It's like Christmas.
All of you know that I do give Mark a lot of crap, which he really does deserve, and I will continue to do it. But he is right about this metal. It's great. 10, 15 years ago, we were trying to find donor cars to cut roofs off and stuff like that.
These guys are awesome. You know, they're always hooking us up with great stuff. We could not get this done without those guys. Do you want to give me a number and I'll pull something up for you?
Sure, why don't you go ahead and grab 871-1468-2L. That is a rear body cross member reinforcement left hand and probably has a right hand with it too. Oh, wow.
Even drilled.
That is awesome.
Come on.
Give me the spot welder.
Don't look like anything I got here. Don't know where it goes. That's the firewall. What are they calling the cowl? See, well, these are different holes. I bet I know where it goes.
I do appreciate guys like Royal jumping in. I mean, checking in parts isn't his job, but it's nice to have the extra set of hands on it.
Oh, there it is. Nope.
It's okay. He's helping, and we are getting them inventoried, and at least we won't make any mistakes if we do have everything inventoried and right for the car.
Cal?
That should be that side inner.
Oh, inner right there, buddy. Right there.
Where they're both in there. Beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like they're both in here.
Beautiful. Check them against the floor of the car. Because you're not just making sure that they're the right parts. You're also making sure that if there's anything else I need to order, like a strap or a bracket, that I need to get it written down now. And I don't see anything there, so that should just be a footwell. Well, it fits nice. Look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Beautiful. Okay, there's our footwells. Checking in the parts isn't just a matter of opening a box and saying, yeah, it's a quarter panel. It's really making sure that if it's called out to be a left quarter panel, left, right, that it is the left and the right. If you find out the day you're putting the car together that it's not the right part, you can get set back 2 or 3 weeks. You could get set back months if the part's on back order. Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Wow, those are pretty. I can't use much of this on my car, can I?
No.
Valve covers.
Sorry, Chief.
Valve
Yeah, the valve
covers?
covers would work.
I can snag them, Derek.
Yeah,
on mine.
snag them. That should be a trunk gutter.
Yeah, I can use this.
1470.
Can
Got
I
it.
take this?
No.
Why? I haven't got mine.
I just said no. What is it?
Fitting it.
Oh. Make sure it's a 3/8. That's what I have to deal with right there. Josh is an airhead. I used to have a little bit of faith that he was getting better, but now I think he's just absolutely heading off to a different galaxy with a whole different set of gravity. It's just, I'm worried about the boy.
Wow, look at all that part.
Derek?
Where's the front bumper?
It has a cone on it, Daren.
Rubber.
I want to
Oh,
get
that's
the
right.
I want to get the car cut apart
You're right. I didn't
next
think.
because we have all the sheet metal for it. I think we did really well. There's a lot of boxes, there's a lot of pieces. I had 4 pages of invoices to go through and make sure everything was there. The parts look good. I love the way that they make their parts factory OE looking. They got all the original holes in them. They got the original stamp marks. It's good stuff. It's a good product, and it's why we promote them. And it's why that I think if you have a car and you're working on it and you want the right part, I'd call them. I really would. Maybe we can set a record for putting the car together. That's good work. Get back in the box. We're at a point now where with all the parts here, we can get the car cut apart and we're ready to put it back together again.
Do what thou wilt. You're part of it. Yeah. Give me one.
We are emulating the original factory process. The only stumbling block was finding the donor roof for it. He will give you $35,000.
You're just trying to welch on all of our other agreements.
So far, we got the engine for the Superbird painted and it's curing in the booth. Our huge order from AMD arrived. We got it unpackaged, inventoried, and ready to go. All we have left is strip the old panels off the Superbird in preparation for the new ones to go on. I have the Superbird on the rotisserie ready to go. I have the 2 body men ready to go. It is now time to disassemble all the sheet metal off of our Superbird. With all the fit throwing and all the crap that Daren's given me on his car, today was interesting. I did get a phone call from a friend of mine on the East Coast who had a friend who was very interested in buying his car. You got it, good.
What's the deal?
So you know the guy that bought the 6.6 Hemi Charger, Vinny, back in New Jersey? He's got a friend that wants a big block 4-speed car. I talked to him about your car. I didn't figure you'd care if I did, and he wants to buy it as long as I can restore it for the number that I gave him, which is a very affordable price, but I'm not going to share that with you because it's none of your business. Will you sell your car right now? He will give you $35,000. He will wire it to you tomorrow.
I thought you said he wanted to buy it.
He will give you $35,000 USD.
Well, I'll have to think about it.
No, you're not. I already told him you'd take it. You're not thinking about any.
Mark, you're just trying to welch on all of our other agreements.
$35,000 is about $15,000 more than it's worth. Because I know that I owe some parts for it, so I was trying to do the right thing. You clear 35 grand.
So you're trying to give in on other agreements, right?
What?
You don't
No,
want
I'm
to honor
trying to
your
get
other
you
agreements.
$15,000 more for your car. What's that got to do with my agreement? Okay, but my agreements, whatever it is, doesn't impact you, right? It doesn't have any difference on your bottom line. So if your car's worth $20,000, I'm giving you an extra $15,000, which is way more than I would owe you for those parts on the car. So I factored all that in.
I really do want to think about it.
You could take the money and go buy yourself another car. What
balloon.
Dream? If you had a dream, you'd be finishing it. I had dreams. I fulfilled mine.
We all catered to your dream.
I chase after my dream.
We catered to your dream.
You want a dream? You reach for it.
We did. We
always
helped you with
grab
your
about
dream.
4 inches past where you can reach. That's called winning.
We helped you with your dream. Now why don't you help the rest of us with ours?
I'm done with you.
Well, anyway, I need to like to think about it, okay? Maybe you should think of somebody besides yourself. Right? We all have dreams too and things we want to accomplish in our lives. Okay, bye. Bye, buddy. Yeah, there he is, trying to get out of other agreements we've made.
While Tweedledum's up there thinking over something that shouldn't take any brain power at all, it's a slam dunk, I'm going to round up the other 2 body men, have them start working on the 72 Charger Rally. Derek is in the booth applying the direct-to-metal sealer, the DP90, over all of the bare metal so we can actually work on that car. With AMD not making a roof skin for the 71 to 74 Chargers, I had to find a used one. It turns out that the satellite 71 to 74 satellite roof skin will work on a 71 to 74 Charger. We happen to have a 72 Charger that needs one, so we're going out back, me and the guys, and we're going to get the roof cut off around the area bigger than we need so it can come inside, get dissected, and installed on the 72 Charger. I know sometimes I get sounding like a broken record, but I mean, when you're talking about having a donor car in the graveyard with the correct part for a car that has to be done, you realize the importance of it, you realize the value of it. The 72 Charger Rally is a unique car. Typically when you got into the Rally, or now in 72 you couldn't get an RT, so they called it the Rally, you would expect to see a 440 under the hood, or a 400, or a 340. Jim and his daughter came out a couple months ago and they were telling us the story of the car and exactly what motivated him to order one, special order one, with the Rally package, but with only a 318 in it.
I'm Jim Walton, and this is my daughter, Mitzi, and this is our Dodge Charger. Okay, the reason I chose the 318 was it's very economical, it's a good-looking car, and sporty, and it had air conditioning, it had power steering, it had everything I wanted. We just wanted a car that we could travel around the country with, and it had a big trunk so we could load that up, and we liked the color.
I can't tell you enough about how much the backstory means, not only to me, but I think to a lot of people out there. Yeah, it's a cool car. Yes, it's a one-owner car. But when you start hearing the story, you hear Jim talking about when he's a young man and just starting his family, he wanted a car big enough to haul everybody, but yet still got good gas mileage. And why? Because he's Sparky Griswold. He's Clark W. Griswold. He wanted to take his family all over the United States on vacations in this car and be able to afford to do it. Remember, gas was probably 50 cents a gallon. It's 1972. So he was thinking economy. But as he goes back through with his daughter and they start talking about the different road stops and the experiences that they had.
We were traveling from Dallas, we was heading up north in Texas, and I told my wife, I said, I wonder what this thing will do. Now, I only had a 318 motor in this, but I thought, well, let's see what it can do. And I got it up to 100, and I said, that's good enough. And I backed off. We got home, and we were gone, I guess, a month, really, for the whole trip. And we just had a good time. We've had the car ever since.
I mean, first off, that's classic Americana. It doesn't get any better than that. But they did it in a Dodge, a dependable Dodge. That's what they said, dependability. It can't help but warm your heart to hear those stories. And it can't help but conjure up your own memories. And there's millions of people out there that watch this, that watch it because we help bring those memories to the surface that maybe you had even forgotten. Car guys never forget their experiences, and that's what I love about these stories. That's why I'll always love these stories, and that's why until they shove dirt on my head and say it's over, I'd like to be able to put these cars back together and hear every story that goes with them. True or false? In the mid-70s, Chrysler introduced a two-door car where the right-hand door was 4 inches longer than the left-hand door. The answer coming up after the break. So did Chrysler make a car in the mid-70s with a 4-inch longer right-hand door than the left-hand door? The answer is false. AMC, American Motor Corporation, is the only company to have made a car where the right-hand door was longer than the left-hand door. However, Chrysler subsequently bought AMC, and some people say that AMC is now a Mopar as a result of that. Visit graveyardcars.com to learn more. Derek got the epoxy sprayed on Jim and Mitzi's 72 Charger Rally. We got lucky and found the correct donor roof for their car. Now we just have to get that roof welded on, and we can start hanging sheet metal on our Superbird.
When the car is finished and we receive it back, I'm going to keep it here in Springfield for about a year and drive it and just enjoy it. And then we're going to take it back to Montana, and Mitzi will keep it then. Eventually, they'll give it to their oldest son, and he will keep it then. He's in the Marines right now, but he's looking forward to it.
Brian, my Marine son, that gets it next, that he will have it until he's done with it, and then it'll go on to maybe my youngest son, and then the two boys will be in charge of which grandchild gets it, who is able to take care of it and honor it and keep it the way it should be kept, so it always stays in the family. I love you, Dad.
I love you too.
Now you can make me cry.
Gotta cut that.
You know, it's really cool that Jim and Mitzi came out to tell the story. We've had a few folks on doing the exact same thing, and I love every minute of it. Very few people still have their original cars after 43 years, so.
Yes.
You're a good man, Charlotte Brown.
Thank you very much.
Great to see you.
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, you're welcome. Now that they are gone, it's time to knuckle down and get some work done on the car.
Take care of our baby.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make it beautiful.
Okay, good deal.
The only stumbling block we really had that would slow us down doing body work on the 72 Charger, which is the straightening of the panels, was finding and installing the donor roof for it. We did happen to have the 71 roof out there that was identical to the 72, even had the pegs across it for the halo top, which is a very unusual option. The old one got cut, removed, all the metal around it got cleaned and trimmed, so now the new one is installed with the correct foam, with the correct sealers on it, with the correct direct-to-metal epoxies. Now we can move on with the rest of the body work on that car, which means we can also jump back over to our Superbird. What we're working on today is putting a brand new door skin on our 70 Superbird door shell. This is a brand new Auto Metal Direct door skin. This is a replica of the original door skin you would have got from Chrysler. To apply this to the door shell, you have to remove the old skin. That's what Lucky's getting ready to do. If you look here, they take the outer lip and they fold it over the edge of the door shell itself. So the easiest way to remove the old door skin from the shell is to grind this edge until it breaks through this outer metal, leaving the door shell itself. If you look real close, you'll see this fine line. The minute you see that fine line between the two panels, you're done grinding and it's time to separate. He's going to start dissecting the outer skin from the shell. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift the door shell off of the skin, hopefully leaving just, there it is. Yep. So let's set that on the ground. Beautiful work, Lucky. Now, let's turn this over and show them why we did this. This is our original Superbird door skin. If you could get microscopically close to this, this is almost as thin as a potato chip now from the rust. I didn't send this out to have it dipped for the sole purpose of it would be a waste of time and it would be a waste of money. We have the door shell off so we can get in there and media blast it and treat it with a good epoxy in preparation for the new skin, but there was no reason to spend several $100s dipping just the door itself. We're gonna take the shell over and have Josh put it in the bad boy blaster. He's gonna blast all of this area in here. This is unusual that you have this kind of access to the inside of a door shell. Usually you don't. And if we didn't have this kind of access, I would have opted to dip it. One last thing to point out to you is when you're working on, let's turn this up there. So yeah, he's gonna have to take the rest of his metal off of the back of it. Some of these spots are spot welded, so he'll go along till he finds those. He'll drill the spot weld out, he'll peel this off of it, hand it over to Josh, and it'll be ready to blast. This is the original door VIN label. These are only authorized by one place, ECS, to have them reproduced. I take very up-close pictures, which I already have, of exactly the font and the style, how it's placed. I want it to be duplicate when Dave makes me a new one at ECS. Josh just gave us back the door shell for the Superbird. You'll see that it's black in color. That's a DP90. It's a PPG epoxy that we use on all of our bare metal. It was media blasted down to the original bare metal. All the rust was removed. We have it treated on the inside and out. And so Lucky is standing by patiently waiting to marry together the door skin with the door shell. You'll see how this now fits down inside this lip. This is the lip here that you saw us grind off of the other one when it was folded over and we ground on this seam. You'll see where all these bare metal spots are. These were factory spot welds in addition to rolling the skin over. So Lucky's gonna do the exact same thing. He's gonna get this skin to roll over. He's got a dolly and hammer that he'll use here in a second. And what you see him doing is he's clamping these vice grips into place because he wants this skin to be snug. He's using the paint sticks as a buffer. He's spreading out the weight of this bottom so he's not gonna damage it. Clamps that into place. Otherwise, if you didn't have this, you have a chance of having a nice little dent there to work with and a nice little dent there to work with. He has everything set in place. Lucky's an old school body man. I bought him an actual door seam tool, but he prefers to do it this way. He likes what we call a dolly and hammer. He starts it folding over, and then once he has it starting to lean, then he can get more aggressive. He can take his vice grips off now. There it goes, boom, boom, boom. And he's gonna carry that on all the way around the door, full 360, till that skin is married to it like it's supposed to be in the right shape. Then he's gonna do his spot welds. At that point, that door will be united with a brand new door skin, an original shell, and we will have saved a good portion of that door. You wanna pre-fit everything. Yep, beautiful. Nobody makes a 5-foot pair of vice grips. It's starting to look like a floor now. You're gonna take it, the 35?
Yeah. Yep.
The body men got the sheet metal off the Superbird in record time. Since Auto Metal Direct got us our order, everything is here, everything is inventoried and sorted, we can now do the pre-fitting on the car, then begin the welding process. So today, the guys are getting ready to start pre-fitting the AMD sheet metal on our Superbird. So far, we've gotten all of the old sheet metal off, such as the floor, the outer wheelhouses, the quarter panels, the rear body panel, etc. After that's done, the guys have to start cleaning stuff up in preparation for these new panels. And that's what I want to show you today. So what you see back here is the pile of the sheet metal that came off of our Superbird. This is, when you cut it into strips, this is what it looks like. But basically everything that came off the car, from the upper cowl panel, the rear body panel, the trunk floor extensions, the interior cabin floor, the step well floor, But this is what you got once you have all the pieces off. We don't throw anything away in the event that there's a bracket that might need to be transferred, or we might need some kind of an idea of how the factory did something. We just keep it over here in a pile until we're done putting the car together. So once you have your old sheet metal off, we know we have the car dipped. We know we have our new products from AMD waiting to go on, the new quarter panels, new trunk floor. We have our new interior floor over there. We have our roof skin down there. It's not just a matter of taking the new sheet metal, throwing it in, and you start welding. You want to pre-fit everything. And so that's what the guys are doing today. They've made some preparations, if you look in here, just to acclimate you with what you're looking at. This once had an original floor pan in it. That original floor pan welded to, this is what you never see, the front frame rail. This is the torsion bar cross member that oftentimes is rotted out, but this car actually, structurally speaking, such as this, and the torsion bar cross member, these are the original seat mount reinforcements. They're really solid. All of the inner structure stuff was solid, it was just the sheet metal that was bad. So what you see on here is that they've ground it, like through here you can see where they ground all of the old spot welds off. They drilled them out one at a time, removed the panel, whatever was left, they ground smooth. This is a weld through primer, this goldish stuff. Now, you'll see some small holes. That's because they've had the panel in and out several times, pre-fitting it. Once the panel is in this car, screwed down to the cross member and the side rails, the cowl, the front frame rails, the seat reinforcement brackets, the rear pan, once it's screwed down into place, they'll start doing their spot welding once they know it's where it's supposed to be. But where we're catching them right now is, guys, you can go ahead and put that in. They are getting ready to install the new center floor pan. And as they bring that over, you'll see that the areas that are going to go against here and here, those patterns, they have that gold weld through primer on them as well. The main reason for the weld through primer is that it is designed to burn back and let two pieces of metal touch and fuse and melt together, and then that gold primer, that gold coating will fall back over the weld and actually protect the weld. Whereas a regular primer, if you were to weld two pieces of metal, it would just blow away and then you would have raw metal where the two pieces of metal met. This will actually concave back in and seal around the weld. A good welder, he'll always use a weld through primer. Some are zinc, some are copper. This one's a copper one. We have our best luck with the copper. But you should do it. You should never weld two pieces of metal together unless you can get on both sides of it. In this case, we can't get on both sides of it. We can't get in between a seat floor reinforcement and the actual floor pan. It's invisible to us at that point. We need something that will react that way. And that's what the copper weld through or the zinc weld through primer is for. It's starting to look like a floor now, that big one piece. This again is the new Auto Metal Direct floor. It's a exact duplication of the factory one with all the factory provisions, including the drains, the hump for the shifter, all of the strength ribs. So you see them working there. It's sheet metal and it's a big piece. So it's not just plug and play. It takes craftsmen that have been down that road before to make the metal fit the floor, to fit the cowl. So even though it's been in and out and they pre-fit it, they're going to continue to work on making sure that it's exactly where the factory piece went before they start screwing it down and move to the next panels. So they've got their all in place over here. They've got their pre-drilled holes set up over there. What the guys are going to start doing now is they're going to start putting in their self-tapping sheet metal screws. That's going to do two things. It's going to keep the pan from being able to move, as well as when you do spot welding like the factory, and we'll talk about that in a minute, the two panels, the new floor, the old one, they can't have a gap. Otherwise, all you're doing is spot welding the top one and it's not molten together with the bottom one. Those two have to be tight. Well, you can't put nobody makes a 5-foot pair of vice grips that you could go in from here and vice grip that together with. Make sense? So what you want to do is you want to be able to suck those two panels together, and a screw will do that.
Here we got one of the new AMD quarter panels here. This is the right side here. You can see how nice they are. Such an improvement over what we've had in the past to use on these cars. They look good and they fit good. Of course, they need work afterwards, you know, to get
Darren,
the
you're
body
bogarting
really
the mic.
nice.
Don't bogart the mic.
He wanted me to.
You're trying to worm your way in.
He asked me to do this.
I'm just kidding. I want to show them. The process right now is they're actually installing the self-tapping screws from the outer panel into the inner rocker. And as they do that, you'll see that panel come down nice and tight against the other panel. So when it comes time to do their spot welding, they won't have to put as much pressure on it to hold the two together. Yep, beautiful. Why don't you do stuff like that, Mary?
I'm not talented
No,
like
so I
that.
can jump in there and just kind of help. I can
know,
go
you-
from
you-
doing body
you-
work
you-
over to
you
building
couldn't
an
have got it
engine,
without you.
jump in and paint a
I
car,
know you
run
could.
back out and check numbers
Brag
on my
for a
car,
while and go do
over
something
and
else
tell
and
some
brag some
jokes,
more.
crack the guys up.
Brag some more, back and brag some more. You're not supposed to boast about yourself. Now what's wrong with my face or my teeth or something?
No.
What happened to my face?
No, your nose is going over to one side now.
So it's like yours.
Mine got hit.
But yeah, but it still doesn't matter. It's over to the side.
So while he's finishing welding up the floor of the Superbird, I'm just going to take a second to show you how we are emulating or duplicating the original factory process. In here, you can see this is our 72 Charger. This is a survivor car, a mint condition body car, other than the strange roof that rusted out on it. But this is the torsion bar cross member that I showed you earlier that runs underneath this and goes from side to side. This direction is the frame rail that I showed you. Here you can see the pattern he's doing, the double, 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 double. Some of these on the factory you see are deeper than other ones. That one's almost all the way through. This one's a little more shallow. But that's the process and the mentality as we go through. Here it picks up and it starts taking off with the frame rail that runs this way. Double, 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 all the way up the firewall. So what he's doing and what we're doing at Graveyard Carz is we're duplicating the assembly line process, but with today's technology and today's equipment, which is better as everything has evolved. So the cars that started to rust after 4 or 5 years in the beginning and were completely rotted out after 10 or 15 years in some cases, will be around for generations to come with our new process, with our new techniques, using the old style as a pattern. Wobbies.
Hey, this is Daren.
Yes, sir.
I think I'm going to go ahead and go with that deal. It's a good number on the car.
You're going to take it, the 35?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that, my friend, is probably the smartest thing you've done in a long time. I think that's a good number. You can do something with that money. You're never going to do the car. I think a good call, buddy. I think that was the smartest thing you've done in a long time. I'll let him know.
No, I think I changed mine. I don't want to do it. Tell him the deal's off.
Don't. All right, I think we had a really good week. I know you're the anti-happy, but for the most part, we got a lot done. All right? What did we get? We got the motor painted.
Superbird engine painted.
The 440 Magnum. Oh, is
No,
it
it's
a
a
440
Super
Magnum?
Commando.
Oh, it is. Thank you.
Magnum's a Dodge.
Hi.
That's up on that. Okay, go ahead.
We got the roof installed on the 72 Charger, the correct roof off of the 71 Satellite, which is the same part number.
I told my dog.
Has the ribs in it for the Halo roof.
One time I told my dog at Christmas time to let me know when Santa was there.
The Superbird came apart and is in preparation for all the new panels from AMD.
So in the middle of the night, the dog goes, roof, roof. Santa was up on the roof.
Yes, that's. It's all fun and games, isn't it?
Smart dog. You understand the dog was
What have to do with the wrap-up?
the dog was letting me know he was on the roof. I told him to let me know when Santa was there.
You think that's funny because those idiots are laughing?
No, it's not funny. It's
Y'all
just the
can
truth.
finish your own. I'm done.